Hey friends, I know it's been a while since you've seen my face. This is going to be the first video that I've recorded in a while where I'm sitting down and chatting a bit with you, although part of this video is going to be a voiceover with screen sharing because I am going to show you guys how I made an art curriculum for myself that I can use to basically teach myself art. I had a request for this from Megan Slater. I'm going to just pop up the comment in the video. And basically she was asking how I came up with the courses. And I did explain to her that the courses aren't mine. I found them online through various resources, which I am going to go through in this video. I'm also going to recommend some places you guys can go to make your own art curriculum. I'm also going to show you mine. So if you want to follow along with that, you can. I am following it a bit looser. So the dates on this are going to be a bit off because originally I was planning to finish the whole, first semester by the end of the year, which is not happening. Just because I decided to take social media on and I'm working full time plus a little overtime. So without further ado, I am going to share my screen with you guys. All right, guys, so here we are on my art page in my Notion. And if you don't know what Notion is, I will provide some links below to videos on YouTube. So I stumbled onto Notion a long time ago. I've been using it a lot for not only art, but for other things. And it is very helpful. I also have my content schedule and ideas and business ideas on here as well. But today I'm just going to show you guys my art education page. So as you can see, my September is blank, because as I said, I'm going to be much more loose with how I do the curriculum I made for myself. So June was kind of the month I decided I wanted to focus on doing some art education. The first thing I wanted to point out is the learning hours. So one of the things that I learned actually in Drawbox that Uncomfortable teaches you is that for every learning hour or hour that you spend learning something, you should spend an hour doing like playful art. So art that actually kind of want to do. I know some people might say, oh, I love practicing, I love doing studies. While that may be the case, you still need to have play hours where you paint something just for the pure joy of it, not really to learn something. I'll leave a link to Drawbox. It's a free online resource that it basically teaches you how to be more confident with your drawing. And it's good for beginners, but it's also good for those of us who are intermediate or even for people who have been doing art for a very long time. It's always good to go back to the basics. One thing I've learned about art is you can never learn enough. I would highly recommend it if you've never done it before. I've only finished lesson 1, which I still have to submit. Hopefully they still accept it because I think I finished it in July. And then I would like to go on to lesson 2, but at my own pace. So every day what I basically did was write down, or at least not write down, but track how many hours I was spending on doing my homework or watching a video lesson or reading on Drawbox's website. So that's what I did here. I also started keeping track of my play hours. I do like the calendar view because you can kind of organize what lessons and what homework you want to do when. And then I would actually copy it onto my Google Calendar, or rather my Apple Calendar. They're kind of together. I've linked them so I could see what part of the day I was going to dedicate towards, art practice. Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain is a book, so I didn't have a link. I couldn't really estimate the time, this is for how long I think it's going to take me. I didn't really put anything there, but if you see my Beginner's Guide to Drawing lessons, for example, I have the date that I wanted to do this lesson. I had the link to the course, and this is a course on New Masters Academy. It is not free like Drawbox is, but really affordable. They're having a sale right now, I think, for Labor Day, so it's, I believe, half off for a whole year. I can't recommend it enough. I will leave a link to the site down below. So that's pretty much how I organized that. And then at the end of each week, I had week 1 due. So I would put total number of learning hours, total number of assignments, and then a reflection, because I think a reflection is really important. But obviously, I didn't do the reflection part. I would recommend it just to kind of keep track of how you feel about your progress. So that's pretty much the calendar aspect of my Notion. So this should take about 14 weeks if you follow the curriculum as I had it previously, but now as you're going to see, it's going to be double that. I made it up to 28 weeks. So I'm just going to delete these parts. I know I have a second, third, and fourth semester. The third and fourth semester don't have anything in them. I also have a list of books and courses that I want to do. And basically I would put the course, the lessons I wanted to do, and then how long I predicted it would take me. And of course, these are approximations. Sometimes it wouldn't take nearly as long. Sometimes it would take longer. So you really don't know till you're doing it, but I needed an approximation because I was also working. And then I organized it all into weeks. So week 1, I did these 4 things. Week 2, I did these 4 things. And then I had week 3, I only did 1 thing. And then week 4, I only did 2. So that's how we ended up going from 14 weeks to 28. And these dates are all off now because, as I said, I am behind and I'm going to be adjusting this as I see fit. After week 1, I would put a due by date because I wanted to keep myself accountable, and I did do it for a month. And then that's when I decided to take YouTube seriously, so I had to stop. I also went full-time with my job as well. And then I just had a completed column. So that's pretty much it as far as how I organized the curriculum. And I was hoping to finish this by the end of the year, but I don't think that's gonna happen realistically. And that's okay. Now moving on, I'm going to show you basically a list of books. I did want to rate them because I think one day I would like to do a video on like how I thought some of these books were helpful in the sense, like helpful to me. A lot of them I got from the Draftsman podcast. I've also watched videos on YouTube of, artists' book collection. So as you can see, I started this one. I had the title, author, basically subjects I organized into theory and practice. And then I have a started column. So this would be the date that I started it, and a finished column, and then a star rating. So this is the one I started, and I'm still working on it. But I have quite a few here by some notable names: Robert Beverly Hale, Andrew Loomis. Yeah, so those are the books that I thought would be helpful in drawing fundamentals, and then the courses that I want to do. I consider these things that you really need to get down pat before you go into things like focusing on portraiture and focusing on anatomy, painting. You can still do those things for fun. Before taking courses specifically in those areas that I consider like seriously studying it. A Drawbox, which I haven't finished yet. I want to do Marshall Vandriss Perspective from 1994. I know he's coming out with another course through Proco, but I don't know when that's coming out. Draw Your Career with a Whiteboard, Intro to the Laws of Light, The Components of Drawing. So most of these are New Masters Academy art courses. And the other thing I want to show you is when you join New Masters Academy, they give you a course guide. I'm not going to go through all of it, but you have the drawing foundations, and then which is basically everything I listed in that thing here, the list of courses. And then you're supposed to go through the tracks that you want to focus on. So personally, I knew I wanted to do animals and wildlife at some point, figure painting at some point, illustration, portrait painting, landscape painting, those kinds of things. Again, I'm not going to go through this whole thing, but it is lengthy. They have a lot of courses, and they recommend a track that you can, do. So basically, New Masters Academy is trying to mimic, in at least the course guide, getting a college degree. They do have certificates for some of them. Obviously, you don't have a degree at the end of this. So I did want to show you that. Now, this is not an exhaustive list of all the places that you can go for educational materials. I wanted to share a few other places that I would recommend. So the first one I would recommend, besides New Masters Academy and Drawbox, and I would really recommend Drawbox for those of you that aren't quite ready to spend money on your art education yet, because really the only thing you need is printer paper and fine liners to get started there. So let's go to Drawbox real quick so I can show you a little bit there. They are also sponsored by New Masters Academy, and here's the page on New Masters Academy. They also have the lessons. So lesson 0 is getting started. They they go into what Drawbox is, and then lesson 1 you actually start doing things. Lesson 2 I hope to start soon, but I have to do the 250 box challenge, and then I can do lesson 2. But they have challenges and drills, so I would say follow the lessons first, and then they'll tell you which challenges and drills to do. And then you go into constructional drawing, which is using what you learned in the first 2 lessons, as well as the challenges up to that point, and basically applying it to breaking down organic forms and non-organic forms. So read the lesson and then watch the associated videos. And at the end of each lesson, there's a homework assignment that you have to complete. And then you could submit it to this website for free feedback from your peers, or you can pay through their Patreon, which I'm not too sure how much it costs, but you can pay through their Patreon. Drawbox does have people who will critique it that are considered, I guess, like masters of this course. You can also send parts of your homework, but not a full homework assignment, in their Discord channel for like quick feedback. So I'd be surprised if you guys are on here regularly on YouTube that you don't know what Skillshare is. I feel like a ton of the art community on YouTube advertises for them. I do not. I would love to, but I do not currently. This is another place you guys can go for learning how to draw or practicing or studying. Oh, one thing I should definitely mention, Skillshare is not free. It's a subscription service, so you can actually pay monthly, which I'm not too sure how much that is because I pay the yearly fee. It's affordable though. It's not terrible. A lot of our fellow artists on YouTube have courses. So Chris Hong, you can see here, I just said Jazza. I believe Kelsey Rodriguez is also coming out with a Skillshare class, or she's working on one. Arlisha has one here. I definitely think it's worth it. I mean, if you don't get this, I would say get New Masters Academy, one or the other, but it's really more so what you're looking for. If you're looking for something more structured, I would recommend New Masters Academy. If you're looking for something where that's more stylized and more freeform, I would say Skillshare is your best bet. And again, they also have more than just, art. Another one I wanted to share is Domestika, and they're having a sale right now, which is great. Discounts on all courses. I noticed Domestika has discounts on their courses a lot, I'm just saying. So last days, all courses at $9.99 each. I call these courses more fluffy courses because they're not designed to be college courses. You know what I'm saying? They're designed to be like a fun workshop. I mean, not that you can't learn a lot, but when you go to New Masters Academy, that's more, I would say, like going to a college course. This is more like I'm going to a workshop to learn how this artist specifically does this thing. That's the same way I feel about Skillshare as well. But what I like about Domestika is there is a subscription option, but there's also the option to just buy the courses you want. So I actually have a few courses that I bought over time that I still have to do. But anyway, they have a ton of different courses. They have illustration, kind of like Skillshare, they have marketing and business, but you can buy the course and you will always have access to it. And it looks like you can get certificates from it too. And both Skillshare and Domestika and New Masters Academy, all three of them, you can submit your work. I believe Skillshare and Domestika, the person who posted the course will review your work. With New Masters Academy, it has to be a live course for you to submit your work. Submit your work so that the teacher looks at it. I haven't done any of the live classes, so I can't speak to them too much, but I have seen them advertised, and I don't see anything wrong if you can, dedicate the same time every week to that course. Then by all means do it. I would recommend it because then you get feedback from the teacher. Proko is another fantastic resource, and it's growing, which I love. All these places are growing. They're adding more courses every day. Not every day, but often. I do have a Proko account. I already bought a couple courses, but I'm not logged in right now, so I'm not going to do that. But let's just browse. With Proko, things are a bit more expensive. It's not a subscription service, which has its pros, but it also can have its cons because, as I said, you buy one of these courses, you are, depending on what it is, spending a decent amount of money. So, for example, figure drawing fundamentals, it's $125, which is not bad. I know anatomy is really expensive. Yeah, so if you want the full course, and he's still adding to it, I believe it's not finished, it's $379. They also offer this thing though where you can bundle your discount. So if you buy the more courses you add to your cart to buy, the higher the bundle discount. If you buy 5 courses, you get 15% off. It's not a bad deal. I believe I didn't buy anatomy, I have the portrait drawing fundamentals, the figure drawing fundamentals. I do believe I bought one more. But a lot of these people that have made these classes for Proko are big names. I mean, Aaron Blaze, Stephen Bowman, Sam Prokopenko, obviously. I know Marshall Vandruff is working on a perspective drawing course, or he was when I was listening to the Draftsman podcast. I don't know if that's still occurring. Definitely worth looking at if you have a birthday, or if you want for the holidays that are coming up, or to put towards one of these courses, or maybe you can save up towards one of them, because once you buy one, you have access to it forever. It's not like Skillshare where you need a subscription. Same thing with New Masters Academy. You need a subscription to access their courses. So those are all the resources outside of YouTube that I personally know of that offer good options as far as finding educational materials for you guys to use. Obviously, it's not an exhaustive list. There are other places, including YouTube. I mean, YouTube is a free educational resource that has loads of videos if you have the time to kind of filter through it. That's kind of the downside to having it for free, but it might be worth it for some workshops and things like that. I think what else I can share with you guys. Maybe we'll take a look at semester number 2. And before we do, I would like to ask you guys to take the time to give this video a like if you have been enjoying it so far. If you want to see more videos like this, definitely give me a comment or request a video topic for me. I really don't mind taking requests. I only have one request for this video, and it was from Megan Slater, the person that left a comment on one of my other videos, which I will link above. And I just want to say thank you to her, because as I told her, I was going to make this video. I had it planned, but I moved it up in my schedule because someone wanted it. And really, I'm open to any of your suggestions. Also, subscribe to the channel so you'll know whenever a video comes out. I post every Wednesday and Saturday, and I would love to have you as part of the community. So I know I said I'd show you guys the curriculum for the second semester. If you guys want me to share a template for this, I have no problem trying to figure that out. I don't know how to do templates yet, but again, I can figure that out and share it with you guys. I figured we can go through the first semester so I can show you a bit about the courses that I'm doing in the first semester. So obviously we have Drawbox, which I already showed you, but I'll show you lesson 1 as like a little sneak peek. Let me just go up here. So LinkWorks, and this is lesson 1, specifically funnels, but this is one of the homeworks. But I'll show you lines. That's just where you start. So you start with lines, you start with mark making, and then you have homework for that. Ellipses, boxes, and then you move on to the box challenge once you've done your homework. And then we have the Beginner's Guide to Drawing. So that one's through New Masters Academy, so I'm not gonna show you like too much. But this one, the one I've been doing, let's go back to the course, is the Beginner's Guide to Drawing. So within this, there's basically 14 weeks. And every week you watch the videos. Sometimes you do the assignments along with the instructor. Sometimes you do them by yourself. And I find a combination of both kind of worked for me. It tells you how many hours the total course will take watching the videos, and then it'll tell you here how much you've done. I've done more than that, I would say, because I did up to lesson 5, even though it's not showing that I did. Each video comes with an accompanying PDF that has a list of your assignments that you either do along with the instructor during the video or you do on your own time. So there you go. But basically, the Beginner's Guide to Drawing is a 14-week course designed to empower new students with a structured approach for learning how to draw. Join instructors Steve Huston, and I'm so sorry if I butcher any of these names, Chris Legaspie, Heather Lenifsky, Bill Perkins, Joshua Jacobo, John Asaro, and Mark Westermo as you learn the fundamentals of perspective, rendering, and composition. After completing this course, you will develop a solid foundation in drawing. And really think of this as the Drawing 1 course that you take at college. That's what it is, basically. And then the last one that I'm doing, I obviously there's not a link to it. It's the Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain book. It does have an accompanying workbook. I have both, and basically basically what I've been doing is reading a chapter and then doing all the accompanying exercises in the workbook. Honestly, I think you could probably just get the workbook and be okay. I also think you could just get Drawing on the Right Side of the Brain, the book itself, and be okay, because the book itself has exercises in it too, whereas the workbook just has exercises. So it's really up to you. You don't have to get both. Also, you can find these for new on Amazon, or you can get them used, as you can see, from thrift books, or even Amazon I think has used books. I do recommend it. I do know that Marshall Vandriff in one of the episodes of the Draftsman podcast kind of has a bad opinion of it, but he read an earlier version of it, and since then they have updated it. And I do agree with some of the principles that Betty Edwards puts forward in it. And that's pretty much it on the first semester. I'll give you a little peek at the second semester. So I'm probably going to edit this, as I said, because I'm going to be doing much less. I don't know why I put September. That's not happening. Why I put that there. But that's not happening by that date. And I think I want to mix different, courses with this and books with this, because right now this is all New Masters Academy. So I do want to mix it with a book possibly, and then maybe something from Domestika or Skillshare. So I have a little fun, fluffy class in here too, because these are all pretty important. Not that those other classes aren't important, but what I'm trying to say is substantial. I guess these classes are, as I said, like taking a college course. And I predict if you do what I say here, as far as like I organize them each into weeks, this should take you about 12 weeks if you do this one. And as I said, I can share this with you guys if that's something you'd like. I'll also provide links in the description box to all the resources. That's pretty much it. So if you made it this far, I really commend you, and I hope that this video did answer your question, Megan. I also hope that it helps some of you other viewers. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment below. I am more than happy to answer your questions. I'm also more than happy to take your suggestions for video topics. If you want me to cover something in more detail, please let me know. That's it, guys. I'll see you next week on Wednesday for another video, and I hope you guys have a great Labor Day weekend if you're here in the States. If you're not, I still hope you have a good weekend. Thanks for watching. Bye.